Well, shooters and reloaders and 3 circles passengers and members, it's Fortune Cookie 45LC coming to you from the Hot Lead Zone Express. And what you're looking at is 45 auto rim brass. And this is Starline brass, brand new factory brass. I'd like to thank Robert Martin, who is in law enforcement, for sending me a whole bunch of this brass. He doesn't need it anymore, and he wanted to know if I had someone who shot 45 auto rim that I could give this brass to. Well, turns out that this is a round that I've always had a kind of liking for, but never got a gun to shoot 45 auto rim. Well, now I've got a barrel on order from Bullberry in 45 auto rim, and I was just notified that that barrel is on its way. So let's go ahead and load some 45 auto rim to shoot in my Thompson Center Encore barrel that's coming in the mail. Now, you know that I've already got some 45 auto rim loaded up with jacketed bullets. These are Sierra 185 grain jacketed hollow cavity bullets that are no longer being made. But I've got these loaded with 9.4 grains of unique powder as taken out of the Sierra loading manual. And that should actually give us somewhere around 1,300 to 1,400 feet per second out of a 45 auto rim. Should be pretty impressive. Well, now let's go ahead and load a cast bullet load. Well, what you're looking at now are my cast Lee 160 grain 45 caliber bullets, size of .452, powder coated with Eastwood light violet. And these are what I call my Rio Dabo Stumpy bullets. And how appropriate is that going to be for the 45 auto rim itself? A very stumpy cartridge when compared with 45 Schofield and 45 Colt. Well, we're using a Lee reloading die set, and its current manufacturer, as you can see, they've included the latest die lock rings that they put in with all the die sets now. It's this nice, better design than their old die lock rings. But funny thing, the box says 45 auto rim, but all the dies are stamped 45 ACP. So turns out you're going to use the 45 ACP dies to load 45 auto rim as long as you have the right shell holder. Now, the Lee shell holder is a number 13, but I also got a RCBS for the 45 auto rim. That's their RCBS number 8 shell holder. That's in case I want to use my bench prime tool or any other tool that requires the best performance with the RCBS shell holders. Well, the factory Starline 45 auto rim brass does not need to be resized, but I've got it set up now to do the neck expanding mouth flaring with the Lee neck expander mouth flaring die, as you see. So let's go ahead and run these cases through the neck expanding mouth flaring. And of course we've checked it, so now that Stumpy bullet goes ahead and enters the case mouth just fine. So we'll go ahead and neck expand, mouth flare all those cases. And there you see the Stumpy 160 grain bullet entering the case mouth, just what we want. Now normally I'd go ahead and prime these cases with my Tula large pistol primers, but turns out I'm down to my last 15 primers. There's only 15 of them left in here, as you see. So, problem. However, I've got a fortuitous solution. And that is, there was a time many years ago when I was buying some powder and I decided to try some of these Wolf large pistol primers. So fortuitous that I went ahead and got this one box of 1,000, and I haven't used them all these years because I had all my Tula. Well, Wolf is also another brand of Russian primers, so I thought I'd give them a try to add to my powder order, just 1,000, just to give them a try. And you see the box is new, but these are a fair number of years old. But let's go ahead and use these Wolf primers. I'm kind of fortuitous that I got these because that means I got another 1,000 large pistol primers. Now, when I run out of these, I'm going to have a problem because then I've got to go to large pistol magnum primers, which should work, but these are the ones we want to use, large pistol. So the Wolf primers are on the left and the Tula primers on the right. They're both Russian primers, made probably in a different factory in Russia. But you see the priming pellet, the same idea of the pinkish priming pellet, but not quite the same color. And also the anvils are shinier on the Wolf primers than on the Tula. But the cups are the same. Interesting. Well, I'm pleased to report that the primers fit the Lee Ram Prime perfectly, and they go ahead and prime our cases perfectly. Just like the Tula, just like the Winchester primers, which I also have run out of except for one box of those Winchester primers left. So I'm going to save those for another project. But yeah, I kind of like these Wolf primers so far. Okay, so I just went ahead and threw a powder charge with my Hornady automatic powder dispenser of 9.4 grains of unique powder. Now that sounds like a lot of powder, but it's the same powder charge as used in the 185 grain jacketed Sierra bullet, and these only weigh 160 grains, plus they're cast bullets. So we're going to go ahead and taper crimp this. Now you see the Hornady just threw another powder charge. So we're going to go ahead and taper crimp this. I've got the mouth of the case just above the crimping groove, to be exact. So now we put it into the crimping die. And there is the round. So I call these Stumpy bullets in the Stumpy loads the Rio Dabo Stumpy loads. Well, make no mistake, these are going to be powerful loads. Light bullets, but it's going to be somewhere around 1,400 feet per second, maybe even a little bit more. Well, I'll give you a look at those nice powder-coated 160 grain Lee 45 caliber Stumpy bullets. There you see the Hornady automatic powder dispenser. It's reading 9.3 and it's doing the last trickling as we speak. And there it is. Here's something interesting, and that is reloading trays for the 45 auto rim. A lot of times some of your newer ones that are kind of like universal don't work well for the 45 auto rim because the rim is too wide to fit into the 45 ACP holes in the tray. And if you use a larger opening in the universal tray, then the case falls down so far it's hard to grab. So you almost have to use some of these designated type of wooden trays that work well for the 45 auto rim, like this one. Now, in case you're wondering, the powder fill is just about 100% behind that short Stumpy bullet. There's room for a little bit more powder, but not much. Now, one thing with these short Stumpy bullets is very important to get that fairly straight in the case as much as you can, because if it's crooked at all when it goes in there, you'll shave powder coating and even maybe shave some of the lead. Doesn't have to happen. Just get it more or less in there square before you seat it. Now, funny thing, you would think that Lee would give you a roll crimping factory crimp die in the set, but instead they give you a 45 ACP taper crimp die. Well, the thinking might be that we're going to be using 45 ACP bullets anyway to load the 45 auto rim, so we'll give them a little break on that. But I've got this adjusted. The important thing is the die actually touches the shell holder at full stroke, and then you back out the crimping stem and then go ahead and lower it when you put the case in. Lower it down until you feel it touch the case mouth, then back the case out of the die, and then go ahead and crank this and then go ahead and crank this crimping stem down until you get the amount of crimp you want. And with the taper crimp, it's not really that critical. So there's the case going in, and there's the crimp. It's actually a nice taper crimp. So there they are. So compared to the 185 grain jacketed hollow cavity, the 160 grain cast bullets are even more stumpy. That's why we call these the Rio Dabo Stumpy bullets and the Rio Dabo Stumpy loads. It turns out that the 45 auto rim was developed in the 1920s because of all the revolvers that came back from the Great War sold as surplus, and the shooters of America were tired of using those 3-shot moon clips. So that's when the ammo companies came out with the auto rim, which let them go ahead and chamber these rounds just like the moon clip was in there. But for our revolver shooting, the 45 auto rim makes a lot of sense. So we'll take these loads to the range and go ahead and try them out and see if we have too much power in those cast loads. We can certainly go ahead and load them down, but with the Thompson Center Encore and a 16-inch barrel, actually 16.25-inch barrel, we should be able to get some good velocity out of these. So looking forward to going to the range with these. Take care. See you next video. Bye for now.